ladies and gentlemen. I understand, son, that you want to go to sleep. However, I do want to read the story. Will you be reading it? Yes or no? Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Stories of Don Bosco by Peter Lappin.
Mom, please pick up the plaster of Jack.
Let's put this closer to your mouth so that we can get the whole sound.
One method for attracting boys on Sunday was to have a boy to take a bell and ring it all over the neighborhood, calling the youngsters to the oratory. This proved very effective. Some thought it was proving too effective, for besides drawing the attention of the boys, it also drew attention. It also drew the attention of the pastors of the surrounding parishes to the fact that crowds of young people were going elsewhere than to their churches. Those boys belong to us, they protested. They should be attending their parish churches instead of running to Don Bosco. If they continue like this, they'll never get to know their pastors or even the road to the parish church. Father Borel took up Don Bosco's defense. These boys, he pointed out, up to now have never been to any church. The great majority of them come from outside parish limits. Ask them what parish they belong to, and you'll only embarrass them. If they don't go with Don Bosco, they don't go with anybody.
Can I help you? Yes, I believe those two are my pillows.
Let them stay with him, and in time, he'll turn them into the kind of Christians you'll be glad to welcome into your parish. Besides, how can you expect big boys like them to sit with children for catechism? Don't forget that Don Bosco holds these boys by his own special methods. Games, outings, prizes, even classes. Do you think you could do the same? In an attempt to avoid a confrontation, Don Bosco invited the pastors to see what type of boy came to the oratory and what kind of instruction they received. Almost all declared themselves satisfied and would have left the matter there, and not one pastor in particular declared that he and by no means satisfied. He insisted that the right to teach catechism to the young belonged to the pastors and no one else. And no matter what anyone else says, I reserve to myself the right to teach catechism to my own young parishioners. And to promote them to their first communion. Don Bosco quietly pointed out that he was speaking of a very large number of boys, possibly in the hundreds, but the pastor remained inflexible. Don Bosco then told his teachers to prepare the boys for their examination for the first communion. He and several other priests gave the examination to all the boys except those of the pastor, to whom he sent the boys of his parish. The boys obediently presented themselves. Come back some other time, was his response. I'm too busy now. The boys left and later, for the second time, trudged all the way back to the parish church. This time they were met by a parish helper who looked them over in disdain. What do you want? He asked. The boys told him. Aren't you ashamed, he went on, that at your age you still have not received your first communion? And just look at the way you're dressed. That was all the boys needed. They rose in a body that walked back to the oratory where they told Don Bosco that never again would they set foot on that church. Don Bosco then laid the matter before the archbishop, since the spirit...
Oh, no, it's Emily.
Oh, she's in a box? Since the spiritual welfare of so many young people was at stake, he authorized Don Bosco to admit to both First Communion and Confirmation all those boys who frequented the oratory, provided he gave their names to the pastor concerned. Now, concluded the archbishop, you can call your oratory the parish church of all abandoned children.
Who said that? The bishop?
Archbishop.
What does that mean?
I think to me it means you cannot declare yourself a real church or all your kids real people.
I wonder if Martin Luther and Don Bosco were alive in the same time period.
Martin Luther and Don Bosco?
Yes. Martin Luther wrote the 95 Theses, or 95 things that were wrong with the Catholic Church. Like for $100, they'd send you to heaven. Or not send you, but they'd get somebody out of purgatory, your dead grandma or dead grandpa. And for so much money, you could buy a cross from a piece of wood from the cross of Jesus. So they were a big business. So Don Bosco was very kind to these boys, and these boys were obedient. But the pastor that was complaining found out that he couldn't take care of them. Ah, you like the new bedroom, huh? Let's go take a look. Even the living room looks good. That's because we're expecting guests. Alright, so the kitchen looks okay. There's a beautiful pineapple. It's almost 10 o'clock at night.
Oh, man.
I installed this dollar store hook. I love it. I can hang my pants up.
Who's going to sleep here?
I'm not too sure. I wouldn't trust it, son. I think that thing could move.
Oh, yeah, it moves right now.
So you see, now I just need to do what? Yes. What do I need to do with this? What do I need to do with this big bed here?
What do you need to do? Put it up?
Yes, I need to put it up.
The kittens! No, the kittens are grown.
Yes. She had 4 also?
She had 3.
3.
The one that looks like every day or every. Then 2 more.
2 tigers and 1 black kitten. Oh, son, I had just done the bed now.
Oh.
No, just next time, do it.
The other kittens that Azuka had
Mm-hmm.
opened their eyes. Especially the yellow one. Both eyes.
Say, take a look at my new suitcase, huh? You see?
Yeah.
It's got a little belt so that I could, you see the belt?
Oh.
So I could put another suitcase on it.
What's the purpose of this?
That is to change the tire of a bicycle,
Oh,
the
yeah.
inner tube,
It looks like that.
or to fix it. That's the tool I've been looking for.
Alright, have to
Good night, sir.
sit down.
So tomorrow you'll be nice to me, or you will go find your own babysitter, all right? Sir, I'm serious. If you come here, be prepared to eat, and then go to work or go to a babysitter. All right. Thank you, sir. Good night. Yes, sir. I sure will. All right. I'm just gonna do some dishes now. God bless you and those that surround you. Put your house in order, says the Bible. It's very difficult when you live with other people to put your house in order. It basically has to be that I live in the garage and she lives in the rest of the house. That's the only way. And if I could lock this door, but then the dryer is in the garage, if I could lock it, then it would be organized. I gotta find a way to keep her out. Some people are just not organized, and it spills over to your area. That's why carpentry is so important. You'll be able to build things that you need so that you can be organized and you can find whatever you're looking for. And you can hide things. What would I hide? A flashlight. This way I could always find it. A hammer, so I could always get to it. A mop bucket. I had to chain everything down practically in order for the stuff not to be moved around. Bicycle tools. Yes, the best way is just to, what I saw in a movie with the star from Die Hard, what he was in the movie with The Rock, and what they ended up doing is, here you could look and see this plates, but then if he pressed a button, then all the guns would show up. They would be behind it. So it would be hidden in plain sight. Not really plain sight, it would be hidden. But I need to